Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of the Rising A's video series dedicated to the welfare of overseas students and young immigrants living their journey abroad. Today, our topic will be something that is one of the most exhausting things about living abroad. Something that makes us check our bank balances more often than we check in on ourselves. What I'm referring to is the silent anxiety around money that many of us carry in our journey abroad. Like the calculation that happens in your head at all times about rent, bills, your tuition fees. Will I have enough money? How do I get through the next month? Will my next paycheck be enough? How do I find another job? Maybe I could work for some more hours. There's always the constant struggle in our head to stack a few $100s more in your bank account. Not because you are greedy, because the responsibilities that you have on your shoulders, the dream that brought you here, it demands you to be financially stable. And that is the reason you work day in, day out, wake up very early, work really hard, do everything in your power, work public holidays, work on weekends, miss those little family moments, and often push your body beyond exhaustion. But no matter what you do, it is really sad that a lot of the times, despite doing everything that's in our power, money continue to remain as a source of anxiety that chases us from morning to night. It follows us to work, follows us to university, and even to our bed at night. So if you are going through this feeling, going through the similar feeling, let me tell you, you are not alone in this journey. There are thousands and thousands of students who are carrying this pressure on them in their journey abroad. Indeed, that struggle around finances is very real. And personally, I have been through a lot in life when it comes to finances. So my journey has not been easy. So if I reflect back on my own journey, I can certainly tell you that it is not a great feeling. Sometimes it takes the edge off your vitality. It won't let you sleep at night. So it's not a surprise for many of us to stay awake at night, 3 a.m. in the morning, laying in your bed, thinking about your future, questioning your decision to come abroad. Personally, I have gone through severe financial uncertainty myself. There were periods of unemployment. There were several months when I had no employment at all. There were several months that I spent without stable income. Periods where no money was coming in from anywhere, but I still had that responsibility to look after my financial obligations and, more importantly, to bring food to the table for my small family. And I had no clue how things would work out. So if you're one of those people going through that period of crisis, going through a really hard time financially, I see you. I know how it feels. I understand that feeling very, very deeply. The one thing that I can tell you right now is if there was one thing that protected me repeatedly during those period of crisis was my own discipline around money. That financial discipline, which I had built years earlier, was what became the safety net during that period of crisis. Being overseas students, we all know that the employment is not secure enough for us. The future is very uncertain. We don't have a stable visa, we don't have stable employment, and anything may happen at any point of time, which is why it is absolutely crucial to have that financial layer of security so that if anything is to happen, you have something that can back you up. It is important to have that safety net so that you could walk through life without fear. And all of this is coming from my own experience. So today, our entire focus is going to be on building that financial discipline so that you could walk through life without fear. But before we discuss around building that discipline in our life, building that muscles around being financially aware, let's try to understand what is financial discipline in the first place. Because many of us may instantly think about restrictions like never buying coffee again, never enjoying life, never going out to have fun, like limit yourself, pigeonhole yourself into a lifestyle with lifestyle full of restrictions that you don't enjoy. And if something similar pops up in your head when you say financial discipline, you hear financial discipline, let me tell you, financial discipline is not a punishment. We're not here to punish ourselves. We're not talking about never buying coffee again for going out or enjoying life. What we're trying to say, what we mean by that is being more aware. What is it that's causing your money to disappear from your bank account. For me, financial discipline is all about living intentionally, spending every single dollar out of your pocket, being very, very aware. Now, it doesn't mean that I limit myself from going out and having fun. Like I mentioned earlier, we're not talking about restrictions or punishing ourselves. I do all those things that align with my values because this is how I think about money. Money is not only currency, it's not only number. Always remember, every dollar you spend out of your pocket is not just currency. It is your time, your effort, your energy converted into numbers. It is your hours of life that you have dedicated to work, missing all those family moments and all those things that you'd rather enjoy pursuing, converted into a number. So every time you pick up something from the shelf or you make an order online, when you go to the checkout counter, please make sure that you ask yourself, is what I'm buying worth the time, the efforts and energy I have put in to earn this money? That's when the answer becomes obvious. And you have all the power to decide what to buy and what not to buy. This is not something that I've heard someone else is telling me or something that I have read in a book. This is something that I've learned from my own experience over the years. I was the same like you, was very, very indulgent in impulsive buying. I would never ever have the conversation with myself about what is worth buying and what is not. And I would end up buying heaps of things I didn't even need. But when I started living intentionally, like being very consciously aware of what I'm spending, what's going out of my pocket, that's when I started to notice difference in my finances. And through my own journey as well, I learned something very important, that financial discipline is not always about how much we earn. It's about how you think, how you spend, and how consciously you manage what you already have. The interesting thing is the way you think about money influence how you spend it, you save it, you fear it, or you misuse it. That is the reason I personally believe that financial discipline does matter in every income level, no matter where you are in your journey or what title you hold, how much money come home. It is a life skill to have. It is not reserved for the wealthy people. It is something that we all can learn. And when you learn how to master it, it can make all the difference. Again, telling you this from my own experience. And I'm not like a millionaire, I have got tons of money in my bank account. No, none of that is true. Of course, I'm in a point where I don't need to worry about a few $1,000s. However, financial discipline still does matter. When I was going through crisis, it is what saved me. And today, when I have a stable finance, I still manage my money really well. I'm consciously aware of where I'm spending my money. So I do not spend anything that does not align with my values. So in short, let me reiterate again. Today, our focus is around creating a stability in our life that already asks so much from us. We're trying to learn to enable ourselves to face uncertainty without panic. If our life is to throw any challenges tomorrow, we know that we have built enough discipline, enough resilience, and enough preparation from our end to stand strong and tall and keep moving. But now that we have learned what a financial discipline really means, I'm going to share a quick 5 strategies that I personally embraced to master that habit of financial discipline. I hope that it can give you some great insights around building that muscles around being financially stable in the days to come. And these are very simple strategies. These are not intense, tough things that I'm sharing with you. Probably something you already know at the back of your head. But sometimes it is very easy for us to, when you are so bogged down in micro details, we're pushing ourselves so hard beyond exhaustion, it is very easy for us to lose the track. So these habits are something which are very basic and simple things, but can make a huge difference in your finances. All right, so let's deep dive and have a look around those. Are we ready? Habit number 1. The first habit is simple but powerful. Know your numbers. Many of us work incredibly hard, but we don't understand where our money is going. And the problem is not always low income. Sometimes it's the smallest leaks we never notice. When I started tracking my own spending back then, I was surprised to know how much money disappeared through little purchases here and there, like snacks, takeaways, random shopping, subscriptions that I barely used. You don't need a complicated spreadsheet here. No worksheet. Simply write down your income and your major expenses for 1 month, and that awareness is what creates control. You cannot improve what you don't measure. So, this brings us to our habit number two: pay yourself first. The second habit is one that completely changed my relationship with money, like pay yourself first. Most people save whatever is left over at the end of the month. The problem is that very often there's nothing left. Instead, save first. Even if it's $10 a week, even if it's $20, even if it's a tiny amount, whatever it is that you can afford, the amount is not what matters in the beginning. You are trying to build your muscles around saving. So, habit is what matters more here. Small savings, repeated consistently, create confidence, discipline, and eventually financial security. Habit number three: separate your wants from needs. The third habit is learning to separate wants from needs. Before making a purchase, pause and ask yourself one simple question: do I need this? Or do I simply want it right now? That question alone has saved me thousands of dollars over the years. Now, don't get me wrong, life is not only about paying bills, we all deserve that joy. But when we make purchases, that's consciously rather than emotionally, we stay in control. Financial discipline is not deprivation. We're not punishing ourselves. It is intentional decision making. That's what we're more into. Let's jump into habit number four, which is all about building an emergency fund. An emergency fund does not exist because you are pessimistic. It is there because life is unpredictable, especially for us. It can be pretty unstable. As immigrants, the unexpected situations can arrive at any time. A job loss, it could be a visa complications, family emergencies back home, or health challenges. Could be anything. Now, having that savings does not remove the problem, but it gives you breathing space while you solve it. Start with $500 and then 1,000, and then that's when you keep building gradually. I can personally tell you that my saving habits protected me during some of the hardest periods of my life. So, yeah, definitely go for it. Create that emergency fund that you need will back you up in crisis. Habit number five: align your spending with values. This is the most powerful habit, I think, because you're aligning your spending with your core values. Every dollar you spend is a vote for the future you're creating. Before buying something, ask yourself: does this give me fulfillment? Does this move me closer to the life I want? Maybe your dream is paying off debt, supporting your parents, starting a business, buying a home, or building a secure future. When your spending reflects your deepest values, money stops feeling like a source of stress and it starts becoming a tool for building the life you truly want. How do you actually put this into practice when you're already juggling studies, work, family responsibilities, visa pressure, and everything else that comes with life abroad? That's exactly why I want to introduce the growth framework, a simple step by step approach that has helped me navigate some of the toughest financial seasons of my life and build stronger financial habits over time. So let's begin with the first step, which is grounding. Before we can improve anything, we first need clarity. Many people avoid looking at their finances because it feels uncomfortable. They know money is tight, but they don't really know where that money is going. So the first step is simply awareness. Take a month and observe your finances honestly, not with guilt, not with judgment, just with curiosity. how much money is coming in, how much is going out, and where does it go. Sometimes the biggest breakthrough is not earning more money, it's finally understanding the money you already have. The next step is reflection. Because often the problem is not only a lack of income, sometimes it's emotional spending, and other times it's the pressure to keep up with other people. I have seen students working incredibly hard all week only to spend most of their earnings trying to fit in or reward themselves for a stressful week. So ask yourself honestly, what is actually causing me the financial stress? And more importantly, what kind of financial future am I trying to build? That's the question you want to ask yourself while reflecting. And because when your spending aligns with your goals, money starts working for you instead of working against you. Now, it's time to simply put a strategy into place. And always remember that a budget is not a punishment, it is freedom. It's simply giving every dollar a job before you spend it. Start by listing your income, then write down your essential expenses like rent, groceries, transport, you have tuition fees, and bills to pay. Once you have done that, decide how much you want to save each month. Even if it's only a small amount, a clear financial plan removes uncertainty and gives you a very clear direction. Once you have organized it, it's time to work your plans. Now, this is where the real transformation happens. Not through knowledge, but through your own actions. Because knowing what to do does not change your life, doing it consistently does. Maybe it means cooking at home a few extra nights each week. Maybe it means delaying a purchase for 24 hours before buying. Maybe it means setting up an automatic transfer into your savings account every payday. Every time you get a pay, something gets transferred to your account in an automatic basis, and you don't have to worry about that. Small actions like these, repeated consistently, is what creates remarkable results over time, like I often say. So start working your plans, and once you've done that, do not miss to track the progress. This is really important. Most people only notice what's still missing, but they really notice how far they have come. Tracking changes that. At the end of each month, spend 10 minutes reviewing your progress, like how much did you save, what financial decisions are you proud of, what can you improve next month. And even seeing your savings grow from $50 to $100 can build your confidence. Never estimate the power of that. So, progress creates motivation, and motivation helps you to stay consistent. So, this brings us to our next step, which is the final one, harnessing the momentum. And once you start seeing the progress, you do not want to stop there. You want to build on it. So continue growing your emergency fund, invest in your education, learn more about money, develop skills that increase your earning potential, and whenever possible, share what you've learned with others. Because financial freedom is not just about having more money, it's about having more choices, more peace, and more confidence, and the ability to help others rise alongside you. So, this is how growth can actually be our best companion to build up these little habits and create a pace in our life so we can approach our future without a fear. I really encourage you to try applying this framework in your financial aspects. That is something that I've learned from my own journey, and it has been a very friendly, like a great roadmap that I can easily trust on. It will make you sit down and think and actually ask your questions. What am I buying? Is this something that aligns to my goals? Is it what I'm trying to build? And that question can be the door to open the awareness. So, good luck with that. I hope you enjoy the financial freedom. Again, let's not give ourselves that pressure to master everything and become rich overnight. We are here aiming to build that little habits that can last for a lifetime and be our companion along the way. Good luck with everything, and I will see you in the next episode. Thank you for watching.